Operating as a dentisting human in the game of dentistry can often make you feel like this. This is my friend, Mr. Grumbly, and this is what I share. This is how you feel on the inside part of your body as a dentisting human. What are ways that make us feel this way? When someone tells you, I hate going to the dentist. I hate my lower denture. What does my insurance cover? Why doesn't it cover more? When you have an awesome team, but they do an amazing job fighting over who took the last box of lidocaine. Well, on Talking Nachos with Dr. Nacho, that's me, our goal is to help you be happier by reducing your dentisting annoyance, helping you be more successful, less stressed out, and reduce the number of times you feel like crying inside a day. So we have two awesome guests today. I'm going to bring one up right now to share what they do to help dentisting humans. And if you want to connect with us in any way, you want to be a guest on Talking Nachos, you want to find out what we do, find out what Dental Nachos is, just text Nachos to 215-543-6454. You'll be part of our community, and we'll also send you back a free prize. So my first guest is the awesome Lea Morgan, and she is going to share with us, it's always a surprise, Lea, what do you do to help dentisting humans reduce annoyance, be happier? Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. So I am a pediatric occupational therapist. So I am not a dentist, nor do I know too much about dentistry. But as a pediatric occupational therapist, I do know a lot about children. Yeah. And specifically, what I do now is I am focused on helping other professionals, especially right now, dentists and hygienists, orthodontists, learn about interacting and improving their patient care for kids who have something called sensory processing disorder.
Sensory processing disorder. So as a dentist, I've been a dentist for 19 years. I grew up in a family practice, worked with my amazing dad until he passed away, worked with my brother. We've seen kids along our journey. Family practice like to see kids, but I will share that sometimes a child being screaming in another room does not make a good environment for the rest of the patients. Always feels like something's going wrong. So sure. Share with us, what is this sensory issue and how is it affecting our dentisting lives?
Okay, perfect. So sensory processing disorder is something we call an unseen disability. So kids will walk into your office and you don't know necessarily that they're struggling with that issue. As opposed to someone who may come in with a different, more visible disability, sensory processing disorder kind of happens inside their body. So you're not aware of it as the dentist or the hygienist wouldn't be, or the front office person. But sensory processing issues are more and more common. It's more common than autism and as common as ADHD. It's happening in the course. We talk about why we think it's going, increasing in frequency, but basically it's just where the child's ability to interpret sensory information is impaired. And so, like, for example, if there's a clock ticking on a wall or some background, there's all kinds of noises in a dental office. And adults with healthy sensory systems are able to filter those noises out. But kids with sensory processing disorder really struggle, and it can heighten their emotional response. And so you see a kid who comes in and he's calm and he seems fine and he gets in your chair, and then all of a sudden, things are not okay. And so the course kind of helps to explain what sensory processing is, how dentists or hygienists can anticipate and prepare in advance for some of those issues. And we talk about changing some questions or adding questions to your intake questionnaire, stuff like that.
Sounds like Lea, you're sharing such about this would be great for the dental hygienist because they're also the ones sometimes seeing the patient first. Every office does something different, but a lot of times a 5-year-old is coming in through the hygiene department, and that's sometimes their very first experience. So tell me about this course. I have 2 practices. I would like to make this better. What does your course do? How do people get access to it, and what are they going to learn?
Okay, perfect. So it is a 2-hour continuing ed course. It's an on-demand webinar that you access through our website, which is SIPP, S-I-P-P for Sensory Informed Pediatric Practice, so SIPCEUs.com. It's an on-demand webinar, so it has 4 modules. People can work through them all at one time, or they can kind of pace it out and do, 30 minutes or 20 minutes there. But the course kind of talks about, there's 8 areas of sensory processing. Some are really obvious, what you hear and what you see. That's Some right. are less obvious, like the vestibular sense. So right. when you have kids that you put them backwards in a chair, they kind of freak out because they don't know where their body is in space. So we talk about all the areas. And then I have a hygienist, Victoria Sword, who's amazing, who joins me in the course and kind of shares with each of the 8 areas what are some strategies that you can implement to help issues not be
So it seems like I'm a huge fan of on-demand content. We have a lot of Dental Nachos because you can learn anytime, anywhere. Sounds like 2 hours is a really digestible, to use a Nacho term, type of content. What's the cost for an office to purchase this or get access?
Sure. So we are just starting out with the dental course. It is right now at $69 per person, and it is approved in numerous states, including California. We've got lots of states that have already approved it. Some states don't approve individual courses, and in those states, it's considered an elective, and it meets requirements. Like in Kentucky, for example. So anyway, the CEUs are for the most part approved, and then we also offer a discount we have it set right now that's 50 per course for 5 or more participants.
Great. I mean, really what you've done, and I think you should just be so proud of it, is created affordable learning anywhere, anytime, to help with something that's just got to be a very poignant issue for everyone involved, from the parents to the children to the dentist, hygienist. But I know this world so well. You're there trying to get a child to move forward with having a healthier mouth. And you need to look in their mouth, you need to clean their teeth. They might need a procedure. So it sounds like general dentist is be great for general dentist, pediatric dentist, orthodontist. Is that the maybe even oral surgeons?
Absolutely. I would think anyone that's working with children, typically by the time someone's an adult, they've learned how to adapt to those sensory issues. And again, they're more prevalent now than they were. So there aren't as many adults that struggled with that. But yes, anyone who is seeing kids, and you kind of know that you have these quirky situations where you're like, why did that go south? I wasn't expecting that, but it seemed fine. And oftentimes, in my opinion, it is a sensory issue. And from the work I've done.
By quirky, you mean almost every day dentists have this experience for one way or another. And that's why, I mean, as new dentists come in, I'm wearing my new dentist boost camp shirt. As new dentists come in, sometimes we really judge ourselves harshly on when things go sideways. It could be something not fitting right. It could be this behavioral issue, and you're giving them an awesome tool. So I really appreciate it. Lea, share us one more time. So I want to reach out to you directly to ask about this. What would be the best way for them to do so?
Sure. So my email is on the website. My name is Lea, Lea.Morgan, at sipceus.com. The website is also SIP, S-I-P-P, sensoryinformedpediatricpractice.com. And my contact information is all on there as well. But I really appreciate you having me because I do feel like it's super important. I'm passionate about it. It's kind of a niche thing for a dentist, but I think if they better understood sensory processing, they'd have less of those hiccups with kids.
Thanks so much, Lea. Really sharing great value. We appreciate you being part of our community.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
So awesome first share on our Talking Nachos episode here. And we have someone coming up next. And the niche was a great way to transition to this person helping us, a dentist who's helping dentists with niche things. So I'm going to welcome Dr. Michael Goldberg here. Michael, how's it going? We'd love to know what you do to help dentists.
It's going great, Paul. And thanks for all the things that you do to help dentists.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
So I realized years back that most dentists have no idea about what to do with business. And so I've been teaching practice.
Michael, I'm going to end this right now. Want to know why? Because I took so many good business courses in dental school. They were just wonderful. Not the Krebs cycle we learned. I'm just joking. We learned none of that. I don't understand. They don't teach you core things that you need to survive. And they spend all this time on stuff that literally never helps you. The melting point of gold, I could have Googled, but how to get my team on board and run a practice, that was it. So I'm just joking. I just wanted to add that in there, but we don't know business as dentists. So tell us a little bit, before you tell us what you do, tell us the pain that causes dentists. Tell us the challenges that cause dentists. You work with dentists. Where do you see those challenges?
So I see so first of all, the bottleneck is always at the top of the bottle.
Yeah.
So it starts with your own mindset. It starts with having the vision and being able to communicate that vision. So communication is probably the biggest issue I see in most practices.
Yeah, I see that. And so these dentists are coming to you and they're coming with saying, hey, I want to do something new. Tell us about these niche things that you help them add. How does that impact not only their business, but also how they feel about what they do each day?
So one of the main areas I focus on is dental sleep medicine. So we're the official consultants to the Spencer Study Club, Jameson Spencer. I don't know if you've
I know him. Yeah, he's a really big fish, if that's a word, in the sleep world, and does a lot of great stuff.
Correct. So Jameson and I work together and I do the sort of practice management consulting for the group.
Awesome.
And that came about because I started seeing dentists try to incorporate dental sleep medicine, and one of several things were happening. Either they stopped doing it because they figured out that they couldn't make money at it,
Right.
or they started doing it and made money at it, and they started focusing on that as their general practice started shrinking.
Yeah.
And the general practice is what's worth money.
Right. So this is great. We have someone who does this in our practice. I've learned so much through having this dentist in our practice, and I've really had my own eyes open because I judge people only in the inside part of my brain, Michael. I came here, but I always thought this sleep thing's kind of hokey, right? No good. But I'm always open to new ideas. So when I brought this dentist in, and we had patients that I knew for years clamoring to see him, and he had got reviews saying, I didn't know I was so miserable every day until I started using an appliance. We had one funny consult where I knew very well the spouse coming in to see him, okay? But then I see the spouse trailing behind the spouse, and I go, what are you doing? They go, I'm making sure she says yes to this because I can't sleep. So tell us some of that impact with sleep medicine, but also I know the billing's challenging. So what do you help dentists do so they can move forward with momentum?
So we help them organize their systems specifically around communications that enable the practice to pivot to do something that's very different than regular dentistry.
Yeah.
So because dental sleep medicine in particular, TMJ a little bit less, is a medically collaborative therapy. You're now dealing with a treatment that is based on a diagnosis from a physician.
Right.
We can't diagnose sleep apnea.
Yeah.
We can treat it, but we can't diagnose it. And that presents all kinds of challenges. Plus, it's a very different patient flow.
Yeah.
And incorporating that into the practice. So if you don't give enough thought, you don't strategize how to do that before you start doing it and think that it's going to happen organically,
Right.
you know what happened. I mean, organic stuff is really good, especially if they're nachos. But growing things organically in a dental office doesn't usually work really well.
I mean, I have these two books on me at all time remind me, both the Checklist Manifesto and the E-Myth Revisited, that share working on your business, not just in it, but also success. Success is hard work. It's annoying work, right? You know, it's great to have somebody, sleep better, but how do you bill for it? How do you get your team involved? But when you put those things together, whether it's sleep or implants or ortho, you get to have more fun as a dentist. And that always seems to come with also making more money, a real win-win.
So you brought up a great point about billing, because ultimately it's all about the money, because no money, no mission.
Right.
And if you can't make it pay, what's the point? So, and that's a real challenge in dental sleep medicine, because when you see somebody whose life you've changed, you've transformed them into a fully functional human being, and you've given them a good night's sleep, that's amazing. And it makes you feel really good. It's sort of like doing the smile makeovers, right?
Yeah.
How much better can a dentist feel than, somebody saying, oh my God, you've changed my life?
I mean, I want to connect you to our person, or to Nacho team, connect to our person, but he's a very funny guy. And he said, been a dentist for 30 years. Not once has anyone really thanked me for a class 2 filling, but I've impacted more lives doing this, and people have written me the most poignant things. And that's why we do what we do, to make these great impacts. And I love that you're sharing this, Michael, because we need to get the dental students to understand that this is part of being a dentist. It's more than just waxing a tooth, which you never have to do again, setting a denture, which you also never have to do again, festooning. Have you festooned a lot in the real world? I did not festoon much. There was so much festooning. Then I got to the real world. I'm like, where's all the festooning? It wasn't there. So I say that jokingly, but with meaning. So if you were going to tell a dentist to go out and do something now, right? A general dentist who's been practicing and successful, what's like a good first step to get them thinking or their mindset changed?
So a good first step is to go to my website and schedule a complimentary 20-minute strategy session.
Love that.
So that's the first step.
I tell people, before you do it, how can people do that? Just so what's the best website for them to go to?
PracticePerfectSystems.com.
Okay, but and it's great. And one of the things I want to pause on is there's so many great people giving out complimentary strategy sessions. Just take them. Whether it's your accountant, a sleep medicine person, a technology thing, almost every person, I deal with so many people, they always give you a free call. Take the free call, learn, take the free Zoom, learn. Your life can be transformed. And if not, you just lost 20 minutes. So I love that you do that. So practiceperfectsystems.com. Then what's the second step?
The second step is to start scheduling meetings in your practice.
Like that.
Meetings are it's the oil that makes practice work. And most dentists say, I don't have time for meetings, I'm too busy. What I found in my practice and in those that I consult with is that as you increase the meetings, if they're good meetings, it will actually increase your productivity.
Sure. It's dentists, teams have to bond together. I am someone who tries to balance meetings, both as dental nachos and my office. You need enough. You can't have none. You can't have 4-hour complaint sessions. You have to find that magic time where people get together. So I truly appreciate you sharing. We'll connect more. Just one more time, if someone want to reach out to you, what would be the best way to do so?
PracticePerfectSystems.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here. Really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for everything you do.
Appreciate it. Thanks. So there you have it. A super fun, fast, sitcom-length show on how we can be more successful, less stressed out, reduce the number of times we want to cry inside a day. Awesome value shared by Lea and Dr. Michael. If you want to connect with us in any way, be a guest on the show, find out what my favorite nacho topping is. Just text nachos to 215-543-6454. We're building a collaborative community that cares more about each other than crown prep taper, and it's so important. And I thank you for being a part of it.